Well, also coming out of the UN this week, Liling mentioned it briefly, a 400-page report targeting peacekeepers accused of serious crimes, including sex crimes. It's pushing to create a special international tribunal. For more on this and other issues impacting women around the world in conflict zones, I spoke to Sarah Taylor. She's the Women, Peace and Security Advocate for Human Rights Watch.
While a tribunal is certainly one of the recommendations that the study makes, there are also recommendations around national level accountability for troop contributing countries. And one of the things that we really stress in our work at Human Rights Watch is a real need for transparency, more information about what allegations have been made.
So how do you create that transparency, and how much do individual member states really have a role and responsibility here?
Oh yeah, this is really where the responsibility lies, and this is really where we've seen the blockage, despite the efforts over the last decade from the UN to deal with this real scourge to the system. Member states have to take responsibility for this, and they're supposed to take responsibility for this. I think one of the things that came out of the Security Council's meeting yesterday on the broader women, peace, and security issues is there's now a call for country reports to contain the information about what kinds of allegations. So the Security Council should be getting regular and detailed information about which member states are not meeting their obligations on this issue.
And what would happen if they find out they are in fact not meeting their obligation? Can they go beyond this tribunal?
Well, you know, I think the issue of a tribunal is one that's still very much up in the air. I think the UN has both a carrot and a stick here, and the stick is not taking troops from these countries anymore. It's important to remember that there is a financial advantage for troop contributing countries, and the UN has to make it clear that human rights, women's rights in this case usually, is a red line for them, and that they won't be accepting troops from regular perpetrators in countries that are not meeting their obligations on these issues.
Sarah, the issue of sex crimes, sex abuse, of course, it has made headlines in many parts of the world. How bad is this problem?
Again, this is one of the challenges with the transparency and the lack of information. We actually don't know how bad the situation is. We don't have information from a large percentage of the member states and the troop contributing countries that are supposed to be reporting don't report. And when they do report, the UN doesn't make public which countries have perpetrators, how many allegations, what's happened with those allegations. We really don't have an idea of the numbers. I think this is when we get to the very important issue of making sure that not only is information forthcoming, but there's the support and the ability of women's rights advocates, women's human rights defenders to be able to go to bat for the survivors and the victims of these crimes.
And I want to get your take on this quote by NATO Deputy Secretary General, who said it is more dangerous to be a woman in a conflict zone than it is to be a soldier.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do see that women are targeted in conflict as a large part of the civilian population. It is incredibly difficult. There's a real need for the international community to say, when there is a conflict, we recognize that women and girls are going to be targeted for specific types of violence, and we're going to do something about it.